Hello, friends. It's Lindsay Satterfield. I'm here on the Productivity Power Facebook page, and I'm excited to tell you about something I heard yesterday that I think is so relevant and a great way to look at your own performance and productivity. And guess what? It happened while I was running. So as you've probably heard, if you've looked at any of the other Facebook Lives, I use the Peloton digital app to go running with. And yesterday I did a run for the first time with Matt Wilpers. Is that his name? Yes, that's his name. So I was running along, 30-minute run. And at some point, this is actually, this particular run is part of the marathon training. So it's towards the end of an 18-week program, this particular run. So 18-week program. And so I running along, and he's talking a little bit about, sort of toning down your, I'm trying to think of what the word is, which I can't think of right now, but, beginning to slow down a bit of your run or your efforts as you get ready for race day. So one thing he said that really struck me. He gave this equation, which was fitness plus freshness equals form. Fitness plus freshness equals form. And he actually credits the cycling world. He didn't come up with that, but he has applied it to running. And I thought, this works so well for any kind of performance. Fitness plus freshness equals form. So looking at productivity and performance, how does this relate? So I've been speaking with lots and lots of people lately, and I'm not sure why things tend to go in kind of trends for some reason. People that don't know each other end up talking about the same thing. But a lot of people have been speaking to me about really being kind of burned out, but they don't use that term. They don't say that they're burned out, but just really speaking about a level of exhaustion, a lack of motivation, a tiredness. And so this equation, I think, is timely in looking at things like that, looking at overtraining. So fitness plus freshness equals form. So when we're looking at form in the context of productivity or performance, what are we looking at? If you don't have this equation in place, if this is off, if your form is off, what does it look like? So I came up with some symptoms of your form being off. And then we can look back at the equation, see if we can add some freshness. So some of the symptoms are an inability to focus, overwhelm, difficulty making decisions, emotional reactions, overly emotional reactions, difficulty in interpersonal communications, feeling frazzled, feeling frustrated, a lack of motivation, procrastination, being reactive, self-doubt, insomnia. So those are just some of the things that show poor form. So when you're running, one of the things that I love about the Peloton digital app is they're always talking about looking at your form. And it's actually very, so far anyway, it's very simple. They're basics to the form. Where your feet are placed, where your hips are, standing tall, having your focus ahead, those types of things. So when we look at form as it relates to productivity and performance, what are we looking at that we want to have good form? We want to be able to make decisions and not feel super indecisive or not know what to do next. We don't want to be in a state of overwhelm or confusion. We want to be able to focus, right? We want to be able to listen and not feel frustrated or impatient with others. So that's where you can see the form kind of being off. And what does fitness look like in this equation when we relate it to productivity? So I look at fitness, things like dealing with change, getting the muscles of being able to deal with change, learning, when you're learning or adding new skills or trying new things, that's building your sort of productivity fitness. Doing hard things. I think it's important that we stretch ourselves and be on that sort of learning edge. So if you do something that's hard, that's building capacity, that's building strength, building productivity, muscle, and fitness. Focusing intently on something, being very focused, that's building fitness. Executing. So you have a big project and you're really focused on it. You're really putting in the time. So that's a form of fitness that you're cultivating that not only serves you in this moment, but will build your productivity fitness over time. And being able to address challenges. If you're addressing challenges in your work and life, you're building a kind of productivity fitness. So this equation goes a little haywire and we get poor form if we don't have the freshness piece. So if you're only driving, if you're going through tons and tons and tons of change, if you're doing things that are way out of your comfort zone and doing many of them, if you're executing around the clock, if you're in a lot of challenging situations and you're not adding in any of what we're going to call the freshness part, then your form that can lead to that poor form, exhaustion, insomnia, emotional reactiveness, overwhelm, inability to focus or make decisions. See what I mean? So we want to add the fitness, we want to add to the fitness that other part of the equation, which is freshness. So what can we do when you're really pushing the envelope, when you're building your productivity fitness? How can you also build into your training? How can you build in freshness? So here's some thoughts that I have about that. So if you find your form is off, look to see if maybe you need to build in freshness into the equation. So resting, do you have a way that you rest? Is that incorporated, or is there no time for rest? Pausing throughout the day, taking small breaks, hydration and nutrition. Enjoyment, having other things in life that aren't maybe related to the thing that you're spending most of your day focused on. Either social support or solitude. So depending on where you're at, one or the other might be what's needed to get that sense of freshness back. Exercise. What else do I have here? Puttering. I was like, what is that word? Puttering. I was talking to someone the other day and they were talking about how, they're really pushing the envelope with their productivity fitness in terms of their work. And it's been a stressful work environment for actually many years. And so when she gets to the weekend, she has all these things that she thinks would be very productive to do. And all she really wants to do is just kind of hang out and not do much. And she feels badly about that. But sometimes that is what's needed. And we need to give ourselves permission to kind of putter around. That sort of inspires us with ideas, with new perspectives. When you kind of just let yourself follow your own intuition, give yourself some space to do that. Pick up, clean. Some of us get refreshed, feel freshness after we clean up. Saying no and installing boundaries, really looking in the Power Start program this week, we're focused on boundaries, and I've reframed that to call them friendly fences, because we tend to look at boundaries in a stressful way, like I need to keep this stuff out, and that is difficult. Instead, look at it as a friendly fence, like I need to protect something and it's my responsibility to protect it. So if you need to protect your freshness, what can you put in place? Do you need to maybe not talk to this particular person that's draining your energy as much as you are, etc., etc. So that is what I wanted to share with you today, that my insight and my aha about this equation that works for running and training for a race works just as well for cycling, and it works just as well for any kind of performance, including just being productive in your own work and life. So fitness, that is the part of learning, developing new skills, executing, focusing. Fitness plus freshness, things like pausing, resting, nutrition, exercise, slowing down. Fitness plus freshness equals form. then you have great form. You're able to make decisions. You're able to have the patience you need, that we all need in work and life. You're able to, you don't feel overwhelmed. You, what else? You aren't procrastinating. You're motivated. You have a sense of confidence. That's good form. So that's it for today. Fitness plus freshness equals form. So the question is, do you need to add a little freshness into your fitness in order to have better form? So have a great day, and I will see you on Thursday.